Hey y'all, it's Michelle from the Scattered Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be scrapping this picture of me and my family at my birthday dinner last year. And I'm going to be using some products from Pretty Little Studio. The collection that I'm going to be using is called Indian Summer by Kim Watson, and I just love it. I love the colors. Obviously it looks like fall, and that's my favorite. And we've got sequins and some papers, and also I am participating in the Pretty Little Studio sketch challenge for September on the Pretty Little Studio fans page on Facebook, and I'll make sure to link that down below so you can get in on the challenges this month as well. And here is our sketch. It's by Kat Benjamin that we're going to be using. So let's get started. I'm starting out with this background that I made, oh god, who knows how long ago, but it is the perfect colors to go with this collection. So here I'm going through the 6x6 papers from the collection, and I'm just looking for some papers to map my photo with. Now my photo is bigger than the papers because they're 6x6 and my picture is 4x6, so I am going to have to trim down my photo a little bit. But I've gone through and picked out two papers that I really like, and I'm going to figure out which one I want to go first. And I decide to use the one with the words, and of course the words are all about how wonderful fall is. This is my birthday picture, but since my birthday is in, what do they call it, meteorological fall, not astronomical fall. That's not until the end of the month, but I count it. My birthday's in fall, and so I'm going to use all the fall colors and the fall things. So this paper here on the bottom, I am making sure that I have the words that I want to see up there, and it's like smell of cinnamon and crisp sunburnt leaves, and I can smell autumn dancing in the breeze. It's wonderful things about fall. And so I made sure that I could see the words that I wanted to. And now I'm using this 8x8 piece of paper. You can actually get individual papers for this collection at Pretty Little Studio, and it's one of my favorites. I love this beautiful blue. It's so saturated, and it has tone-on-tone leaves on it. And then I'm using it as the band from the sketch, and I have turned the sketch over a little bit so it's on its side, and instead of having the three photos being on top of one another, I'm using this photo here as my representation of those three smaller photos. And then I have that blue for the band that goes underneath them, and then to represent the dashed lines, I'm using this piece of trim that I have. I bought a bundle from Michael's, I think last year or 2 years ago. I don't remember now. But I'm like, yay, I get to use some. And I was toying with the idea of if I wanted to mat my layout. It's not matted on the sketch, but I decided that I really like the idea of this being matted, and so I'm going to mat it on this really dark brown piece of basil cardstock. I think it's called an espresso. Can't remember, but I think it is. I know it's a really dark brown, and I think that really helps to kind of reel in just that bright white. And of course I forgot to take the branding strip off, so I have to pull out my trimmer and take off the branding strip. And also, now you can see with my photo there that my second layer does not go all the way across for my mat, and I'm okay with that. That's not going to try and piece it together or anything like that. I think it's fine. It's just that little bit that's hanging over. No big deal. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my background down. And I tend to just put adhesive on one side when I do this so that I can make sure everything is straight and how I want it before I go ahead and put all the rest of the adhesive down. And because this is a mixed media background and it's not a cardstock that kind of is made for using mixed media, it has warped a little bit. So it's wrinkly and it wants to pull up in certain places, but I don't care. I'm just going along because it's going to go into my album and be squished anyway. So I don't worry about that. So here I'm putting my picture down. And then I am going to pull out, well, first I'm going to kind of figure out how I want this to go. And then I'm going to, well, actually what I'm doing is I'm thinking, how am I going to glue this down? How am I going to stick it down? So I'm still thinking on that. That's why you saw my little thinking fingers going. So I'm like, well, I don't really know how I want to do it yet, so I'm going to go do something else. So here I'm pulling out all of the die cuts. This collection has so many die cut packs. It's just beautiful. The ones I ended up using are vellum leaves, and then pumpkin spice is the name of one pack, and Time Together is the name of the other pack, and then there's another one called Goodbye Summer, which I pulled out. And if you go to Pretty Little Studio website, and I'll link it down below, this collection, it's just beautiful. I'm not sponsored or anything. I bought all of these products myself and am using them because I love them so much. And you can see all kinds of stuff. There's alphas and word stickers and vellum pieces and acetate and beautiful papers that you can get in 12 by 12 and I think 8 by 8 and 6 by 6. And if you like pocket pages, they have the 4 by 6 and the 3 by 4 cards for pocket pages, and it's a wonderful collection. I love it. So here I am just going through the die cuts to kind of see which ones I might want to use, and I'm either putting them aside or just directly on my layout where I think they might go. So I have a little journaling spot down there, and I thought I would use that Celebrate tab because it would be perfect. But it's black, and I didn't plan on having any other black things on here, so I decided to put that aside for another layout later on. And I'm going through all of these florals. Now, here's something that kind of irks me. Some of these die cuts have no white border, and some have a white border. And I tend to prefer to either do die cuts on my layouts, either all white border or no white border. I don't like mixing and matching the white border versus no white border. And I mean, does it really matter? No. But you kind of be particular with your creativity, and that's kind of, I think, one of my sticking points. That may change later on as I continue scrapbooking and I get to where, well, this doesn't bother me anymore. But as of today, it bothered me. So I just didn't want to mix those no white border flowers with the white border flowers. Now, these no white border little words, well, they're die cuts, not stickers, but the little words, don't care. Those they went on just fine. Didn't bother me, but I couldn't mix the flowers. I don't know. So now that I have all of the things that I want to put on the top, I'm going to go ahead and attach my trim here. And I decided to just use some washi tape and stick it on the back. And then I'm going to, now this particular trim is very stretchy. So I'm trying to be mindful of the stretch and make sure that I'm not stretching it too tight and making my warped layout even more even more warped. So I made sure that I kept it kind of loose, and so it would have a little give. And I just get that down. And really, that's all that it really needs. I do, towards the end, glue down a couple of those little circles there. And I did tuck it up underneath that die cut of the florals. And then here is some little word stickers that I'm putting on. And so I put on one that says happy birthday to you, very apropos to my layout here, and then put a little heart beside that. And then the other little word that's not a sticker, but that I cut out, says cherish this. And then I put the celebrate one, because since I have words in my little cluster going on over there, I want to have a word in my cluster up underneath the happy birthday. And now here are the vellum leaves, and I definitely want to use some of those. And no, they don't have a white border, but for some reason, because they're vellum, that doesn't bother me. They're not the same as the flowers and the leaves with the white borders. It's a totally different medium. It's vellum. It's okay. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's my logic. It's just mine. So there we go. So I knew I wanted to use these. And so I'm just picking out some colors and shapes that I think go really nicely with this kind of big cluster over here. And then I'm going to find one to go in the cluster that's up underneath happy birthday. And I'm mostly, for this layout, I only have these two main clusters. And of course, my most favorite way of embellishing any layout is on the diagonal, and that's pretty much what I have done with this one. And now in that particular die cut pack called Goodbye Summer, it has this kind of block of little words for you to cut out and use. And so I cut this one out, and it says full hearts and happy faces. And then I find another one that says good food and great company. And both of those go perfectly with our little group photo here. And before we get to the end, I do want to tell you that the Pretty Little Studio fan Facebook group is having 3 challenges for September. There's this one that's the sketch challenge. Then there's one called a 1, 2, 3, 4 challenge, where you use different items, like one thing, and then 2 of a thing, and 3 of a thing, and 4 of a thing. And then they also are having a scrap lift challenge. So make sure you follow the links and go over and join the group and get in on the fun with the challenges, and the rules and the prize information is listed there in the group. So do be sure and go and check that out, because it is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of new things happening over there at the fan group for Pretty Little Studio. So there I have got all of my clusters glued down, and then here I'm giving my big title a little subtitle, because I didn't like that white space that was there just kind of staring at me. So I covered it up with my subtitle that says, "The best is yet to come." So my whole title is Happy Birthday, the best is yet to come. And then now I am using a sequence pack for my finishing touches. And now this sequence pack is not from the Indian Summer collection. It's from one called Potpourri. But I think that it matches so well that I just put it in there with it. And now I love those leaves. They're so pretty. The ones that are in the top right corner they're iridescent. And then the ones that I'm putting in the clusters, while they're also iridescent, they're also like blues and greens. And so they're a little bit different. And then I'm using this, there are 3 different sized sequins in here, the orange, green, and blue. So I am able to use those just like enamel dots. And that's one of my favorite ways of using sequins, is to just treat them like enamel dots. So I'm just going to glue those down with my Nouveau Deluxe. And then I'm also after I get all of those glued down, I'm going to just do a couple of these circles here. And I think with that, I'm going to be done. Oh, I do glue down that little bit because it really wanted to stick up. So I'm like, you have to go down with some glue. Got to use some wet glue here. And that is going to do it. I'm going to bring it up so that you can see a little bit closer. And I hope this gives you some inspiration to get scrappy in the fall. And do go and check the links below for Pretty Little Studio. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.